Hello and welcome to the video. In today's video we're going to take a look at the top teams for the Halloween Cup. The Halloween Cup is back and it's going to be usually a very interesting meta. This time around there's going to be one big problem for this meta which we're going to talk about as well here today. But of course, if you enjoy this top team videos, I would really appreciate if you could leave a like and subscribe. This helps me out a ton and is free for you. So let's dive right into the top meta. So, taking a look now at the meta. What are the rules of the Halloween Cup? How we're going to see already, it's going to be a Pokemon at 1500 CP, of course, and only Poison, Bug, Ghost, Dark, Fairy type Pokemon are allowed. And so we're going to have a meta of 5 different types. And in this meta, there is one Pokemon that dominates. It is Clodsire, or is it? I actually would say it is Nidoqueen. I think that Nidoqueen is ridiculous. Nidoqueen is ridiculous in this meta. If we're even going to take a look here at multi-battle real quick, we're going to be able to go here up against the Halloween Cup meta. We have the Nidoqueen here up against it. It is a ridiculous Pokemon. Let's take a look on how good Nidoqueen is in a two-shot scenario as a Shadow. Oh wow, it wins only 72% of the matchups. So, in 72% of the times, you would be able to win the lead with Nidoqueen. And 72% of the times, you would be able to win the Say-Stop with Nidoqueen. The only Pokemon that can beat them are either direct hard answers in terms of the damage output, like Golurk, or flying type Pokemon. That's it. That is literally it. And that showcases on the dominance of this Pokemon. Nidoqueen is going to be the Pokemon that everything is around. Clodsire cannot have the fast move pressure that you have over the Nidoqueen, and so the Shadow Nidoqueen and the non-Shadow Nidoqueen, actually I want to see what the difference is between them as well. They're going to be absolutely busted in this meta. It's the Pokemon that you want to have. He has 70% win rate. Both of them are totally fine. I like the Shadow one a little bit more for it. And so that's the Pokemon they kind of want to counter. And so this meta is going to be mainly around the Nidoqueen, and this is going to change quite a bit on which Pokemon are going to be good. For example, a Pokemon that can be good is something like a Rodriguez, which can resist the Poison type and the Rock type damage of this Pokemon. Pokemon are generally going to be better. They're going to be able to resist the moves and have like super effective damage against it. It's going to be more difficult to run Pokemon like Dedenne in this meta. It's going to be more difficult to run Pokemon like Weezing. That being said, we have teams with those prepared as well, same as with Marowak, because the answers of Nidoqueen are all still good, and those are mainly those Marowaks, the Weezings, and the Dedennes of this world. So they're going to be the answers, for example, to the Mandibus. For example, those, I don't know, like some of the other Pokemon, like a Fortress or whatever, is going to go down quite easily with the fire type damage of a Marowak. And so we're going to have a lot of kind of diversity here as well in the team side coming up, and we can move right into them. It's going to be a meta around Nidoqueen. Let's take a look at the teams. Team number 1 here, we're going to take a look at, the problem basically. We're going to take a look at Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen is a very strong Pokemon in this meta. It is a near broken Pokemon in this meta because there's not really a lot of Pokemon that can deal with it. With the coverage of Stone Edge, of course you're going to have coverage even against those flying type Pokemon, but just much that Poison Fang is so good in this meta, it's ridiculous. And we're going to see it here as well. This is the 0 to 1 shit scenario. Nidoqueen excels in the 2 shit scenario. And still it looks like an absolutely broken Pokemon, and this is kind of more the most logical team. Having Clodsire together with Nidoqueen being one of the best Say-Stops in this meta, is just very, very smart. We're going to have here in the lead the Gastrodon. I would actually more recommend nearly even the Murkrow or the Mandibus or the Moltres, as all of those Pokemon are going to be able to resist ground type moves, which are going to be a bit more difficult for your backline there as well. So those maybe make even a little bit more sense, but yeah, Gastrodon is kind of most likely mainly recommended. It's a very good Pokemon still as well, has its benefits as well here. But I do think that for this team specifically, I could even see like those Murkrows, which we have here on the screen as well, having a lot of play. Weakness, Ice type. Ice type Pokemon are mainly the weakness, and I think a lot of people are kind of sleeping on Ice type because there are not a lot of them. And I don't even have a team yet for Ice types, but trust me, I will make a team for Ice types because I think something like the, what's called here, the Frosters, is going to be a very good Pokemon to have all around right now. Anyway, next up, we're going to have a little bit more the Degen route. I think Golurk is fantastic in this meta. I think Golurk is absolutely overpowered in this meta as well, and I think it's perfectly works well with Klefki and the Wigglytuff. Why? You have two big weaknesses for the Golurk. One weakness are like Ghost / Dark type Pokemon. I kind of count them together because they do super effective damage against you. Those are the Pokemon there. You have 2 Fairy type Pokemon in the back that resist the Dark typing, and against Ghost type Pokemon, you're going to resist it double with the Wigglytuff, and with Klefki you have super effective damage against them with Astonish, and this is why Klefki is so much better here actually for this team compared to the Tinkaton. It makes so much more sense. And you're going to have, with that also, like similar coverage to your lead with Golurk, but not the same type of coverage. And I do think that this is one of the strongest teams you can run. This is one of the strongest teams you can run. It is looking quite overpowered. And again, there's not really a difficult matchup for this team, in my opinion, either. Yeah, you might be able to bait out, for example, with the Klefki as well, the Nidoqueen, while still being able to do some nice neutral damage there, and still then having the weak stuff in the back that can deal with it. Of course, Team 1 wins against Team 2, like, easily, but this is because they're hard-count team to each other. But let's move on to Team number 3. Where we're going to have the Shadow Scissor, we're going to have the Caesar of Dragalge with Dragon Tail this season. Is going to be a little bit better in this meta because it's going to be quite a bit better just neutrally in this current meta here. We're going to have the Annihilate in the back. This team is going to be cool. This team, I think, is alright against Nidoqueen as well. I know, like, it's a bit more of a tough one with the backline there. The alternative options, you can also go for Nidoqueen in the back again. Nidoqueen, by the way, basically works nearly everywhere. It is so broken, it is literally, you can put it everywhere. But yeah, Scissor, Dragalge core is kind of cool. Annihilate in the back can help out with some of the weaknesses of the Scissor as well. For example, Scissor struggles to hit Pokemon like Kingambit, which is one of the main reasons why it's here. But of course, Annihilate can completely destroy Kingambit in this meta. Generally speaking, West our team together, Dragalge is there just as glue. Like, Dragalge is not going to be the Pokemon that's going to dominate matchups. It's going to be the Pokemon that has the most amount of coverage for the current meta. I don't actually think that I would even run such Bomb. Not too sure if you need it. I think it might be cool to have Outrage on this Pokemon. I think it might give you a little bit more play. That is my own opinion. Could be wrong with that. But I feel like its Aqua Tail Outrage might be even a bit better for Dragalge. Anyway, yeah, we have, similar to team number 2, I guess, a bit of a different approach though in terms of the fairy types. I want to have a combination of Azumarill, Dedenne again, which is, like, I first had in this team in the lead the Pokemon of Mandibuzz and the Pokemon of Moltres. The issue why this might not work, it still could work, is just that there was like that one big weakness to Electric type Pokemon for that then, which I couldn't handle because in my lead and my Sasop is weak to Electric type, and that's why Golub kind of had to step in here. Again, there's really no real weakness to this team. Apparently Dusclops as well, but the only real weakness that I feel like is Amoonguss. Who is going to play Amoonguss? No one, really, right? So yeah, basically how this works, we have Golub in the lead to counter Nidoqueen. We have Sasop of Azumarill to bait out Nidoqueen, and we have Dedenne as a closer, which can then close up when Nidoqueen is not around anymore. And that's kind of how it works. Hardest counter to Nidoqueen in the lead. Yeah, Sasop that can bait them out, but still can deal with it. And then we're going to have Dedenne in the back to clean up. That's kind of how this idea was for this team. Next up, again, you're going to see a lot of Nidoqueen. It's a very Nidoqueen heavy meta. Like, this is the best Pokemon. This is the most broken Pokemon in this meta. We're going to take a look at it eventually as well on this channel. But yeah, we're going to have the Galarian Weezing in the lead. Can be Shadow as well. Shadow's kind of cool. Maybe even a little bit better. Roderick stays up and then Golub or Nidoqueen in the back. Both of them kind of work out quite well. I actually do think that I like Nidoqueen a bit more for the backline there. But both of them worked out perfectly fine. It is quite a simple team. There's no real hard counter to it. I just kind of want to have a team as well with the Runerigas because I think it's going to be a fantastic Sasop in order to showcase other ground-type Pokemon and their potential for this meta. And so we can now move on to the next one where we're going to see as well, there is going to be that Corsola. Corsola is quite highly ranked. I am not too sure about Corsola yet. I get it's not the worst Pokemon at all. It has a lot of play in the current meta as well. It has a lot of play even against the top meta. It looks a little bit lackluster sometimes though. So I don't know, like a lot of dark types around. A lot of steel type Pokemon around. It's kind of alright, but like Klefki for example can still beat it. So here we're going to have a team that should work out. We have 2 good answers in the back basically against those dark type Pokemon, which is the main and only really weakness here for this thing. So yeah, we're going to have here the Weezing, which I like a little bit more than Tinkaton in the back, because Weezing has access to the move Brutal Swing, which helps out against other Ghost type Pokemon as well. That is mainly the idea behind it. But otherwise, this is going to be a very solid team to run. Corsola is going to be still good, but I'm not too sure always about this Pokemon right now. Greninja has to be in here. Of course, the core of Greninja Nidoqueen is going to be kind of prominent. You can also, of course, have Greninja, Nidoqueen, and Clodsire, like team number 1. But I kind of want to showcase here also like Dragalge kind of works out quite well with it. I even think that Togekiss works out quite well with it. Of course, you're going to have that weakness to Electric type Pokemon then. There's going to be another Electric type Pokemon, there are actually 2 good Electric type Pokemon that could be kind of common. One I didn't have a team for yet, but I might showcase it again here on the channel, of course. The one that I didn't include yet here is going to be the Charjabug that's allowed to be used, but I do think that Charjabug has a bit of a tough time in the Queen meta. But yeah. this is going to be it for this team. Greninja team. Greninja is still going to be strong in this meta. Yeah, here is the other electric type Pokemon. What I said just now as well, this is the other electric type Pokemon that has a lot of play. Morpeko. Morpeko looks crazy good. Morpeko looks like a Pokemon that can literally destroy most of the teams unless you're going to face a ground type Pokemon. And those ground type Pokemon need some answers. And here we have the Togekiss as well as the Golok as the answer. Togekiss is going to allow you to actually still hit those ground and poison type Pokemon for super effective damage with a Psyshock, allowing you to kind of go into like the 2-shot scenario with it and actually threatening them quite a bit. So I think it's actually a really cool combination. Golok in the back, of course, is going to be the harder answer, but I think it's going to be a very cool team to run like this. And we can move on to the next one, where we're going to have the Shadow version of the Alolan Marowak, a Pokemon that you maybe don't really expect here right now, and it's mainly there to counter Scissor. It has great coverage, which is the main reason why I like it a little bit more in this meta even than the Skeledirge. The Bone Club is kind of what makes it so cool, because you have a Pokemon that's not ground type, that has ground type coverage. It's going to be able to beat down those fairy type Pokemon, which are going to be there as well for sure. Those steel type Pokemon are going to be there as well for sure. We're going to have a team here with Glisspot and Azumarill. We kind of needed those two Pokemon. I needed something to answer Dark type Pokemon. Dark type Pokemon are quite common here, of course, in this meta, and we have a Fury Color user, and we're going to have a Fairy type Pokemon in the back, while also kind of countering each other's weaknesses. Of course, if you can counter a Grass type, which are not going to be really there that common, I think, you're going to have, of course, the Marowak in order to deal with Grass types, but also Glisspot in order to still have some nice play there as well. Even though you're a Water type, you're still going to have super effective coverage, and actually can still take neutral hit from it, so it's kind of well balanced. And this is going to be the final team here for today, where we're going to have the Carbink. Carbink is going to be a Pokemon that's super high ranked, and I find quite difficult to build a team around in a meta of Nidoqueen. This is quite just the honest truth here for me. I find it quite difficult to build a team around Carbink in a meta of Nidoqueen, where you don't have a certain weakness. Here, for example, we're going to have the weakness of Azumarill. We have the weakness of even Tinkaton. This is going to be tough. You can still deal with them, for sure. Like, it's not that you're gonna instant lose immediately against them, but they're tough matchups. And that is the case with it, because there's not really a great way of playing the Carbink. It's not the Pokemon itself the issue, it's you have no good cores that actually counter the weaknesses of this Pokemon, really, without opening up other ones. And this is kind of the thing here. This is kind of the best team I kind of came up with a Carbink. Maybe let me know down below if you found a better team. But it's going to be it for the Halloween Cup. The Halloween Cup is going to be starting tomorrow together with the Great League. I kind of want to definitely take a look at this cup here as well. I think it's a fun meta. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I will see you then. Bye-bye.